All right, we're going to start with chapter 2, medication administration process. So, the last person between any error and the patient is the nurse. So, you're the one who's most responsible for any errors that may occur during administration. There are 6 rights to know to help you through this process. The 6 rights to know are the right drug, the right dose, you must know the right route, the right time, the right patient, and the right documentation. Now, sometimes you can say dose is amount. So if I change dose to amount, then you can memorize these by saying the dart P. Like, I took the dart bus and had to pee. I took the dart bus and I stuttered because I had to pee. That's how I remember them, because we have drug, documentation, amount, route, time, and then patient. Let's start with the right drug. There's a generic name for the drug, which is the official name listed by the United States Pharmacopoeia, or USP. There's a trade name, which is followed by the trademark symbol or the registration symbol, the TM or the R. So if you look at this drug, I don't see a trademark symbol, so there's just a generic name for the drug, and that's bupropion hydrochloride. This drug here has the little R symbol up here, which means that this is the trade name of the drug, and then the Z word is the generic name of the drug. So if you notice, there are tall man letters, which are capital letters, and they help distinguish between similar and sound-alike drugs. So in other words, this is bupropion, and if you get something like this off the shelf with the PROP, that is big letters, make sure that it says that, because there might be another drug called bupropion, and then that is one way to reduce administration error by having the right drug. The right dose. A person prescribing or administering medication has the legal responsibility of knowing the correct dose based on their body surface area, which we don't cover in this course, weight, pediatric, or elderly. The routes. There are oral routes by mouth. There are parenteral routes, which are injected. Some forms of that is epidural, intramuscular, subcutaneous or subcut, IV, which is intravenous into the vein, ID, which is intradermal beneath the skin, IC, which is intracardiac, and intercapsular into the spinal column or space under the membrane of the brain or spinal cord. You'll need to know what these abbreviations are because we're going to be given medicines this way. In this course, we're going to focus on IM, subcut, and IV. There are cutaneous medications, which is through the skin or mucous membrane. They can be topical creams, transdermal, can be inhalation through solutions and ointments, and through suppositories. There's more of the right form. They can be in tablets, capsules, liquids, suppositories, creams, patches, and injectable medication. Note that scored tablets may be broken in half, otherwise we should not be breaking them. The right time, the 24-hour clock. Normally, time is shown in hours and minutes, so we are accustomed to using the AM/PM form of the time. For example, 3:25 a.m. means 3 hours and 25 minutes after midnight. 3:25 p.m. means 3 hours and 25 minutes after noon. Without the AM or PM reference, there's no way of knowing which 3:25 you want. But if we go by the 24 clock, it makes the distinction clear. For example, 3:25H means 3 hours and 25 minutes after midnight, and the 24 clock, 3:25 would be 15:25H, because it's always, then it would be 15 hours and 25 minutes after midnight, which would make it the PM time. So time on the 24 clock is always the hours and minutes after midnight using 4 digits. So if you noticed up here, it was 0325. Because it was in the morning, you'd have to have a 0 for that first digit. Never include a colon or the AM/PM designation when using the 24-hour clock. If you notice this, 3:25 has it, and this 325 does not have it because it's military time, and this 325 has it, so we're going to look for the label, and that was then PM. So there's military time versus civilian time. The only difference here is when it's midnight, it's actually 0000. If we had a 24-hour clock, if we convert 12:24 to the conventional time, it would be just 12:24 p.m. because it's after midnight, 12 hours and 24 minutes. So 12:24 and then p.m. because we're talking about conventional time. If we can have to convert 0050 hours into conventional time, that would mean it's 50 minutes after midnight, so it would be 12:50 a.m. If we convert 8:45 a.m. to the 24-hour clock, we notice that there are not 4 digits in there, so let's put that digit 0 in there because it's in the morning and it's 8 hours and 45 minutes after midnight. So you can leave it like that, or you could put the H on it. And if we wanted 8:45 p.m. to the 24 clock, that means 8 hours and 45 minutes after noon. So I would have to add 12 to 8:45 because the first 12 hours were not accounted for when you're talking about conventional time. So when I add 12 to 8:45, I get 20:45. Notice I did not put those colon mark in there, and I'm going to put the H label on the end. An ordered infusion will take 20 hours and 15 minutes. You start the infusion at 3:30 p.m. When will the infusion be completed? We're going to give our answer in military time. I'm going to take your 15 minutes first because that's there and I don't want to forget about it. So if I add minutes 15 to 3:30, I would have 3:45. And it's still PM. But since I want to give it in military time, I need to add 20 hours to 3:45. If I added 24 hours, it would then be 3:45 p.m. the next day. Then I'm going to take away 4 hours from 3:45 p.m. and it would be 11:45 a.m. Still the next day. And to represent it in military time, it would just be 11:45 hours the next day. All right, go ahead and try the next one. Pause the video and come back when you're ready, and I'll help you get through the next one. It says an infusion will take 13 hours and 40 minutes. If the infusion starts at 7 a.m. on April 29th, when will the infusion be completed? Give the answer in military time. So I have to go 13 hours and 40 minutes from 7 a.m. So I'm going to take my 40 minutes first from 7 a.m. and it will be 7:40 a.m. And if I add 13 hours, if I have military time and it's 07:40 and I add 13, I'm going to get 20 hours and 40 minutes military time. The next one says, if the same infusion started at 10:38 p.m. on April 29th, oh yeah, 4:29. When will the infusion be completed? Give the answer in military time. So now we're starting at 10:38 p.m. If I add 12 minutes, 22 minutes, then I have 11 p.m. But I needed to add 40 minutes, so 40 minus 22 is 18. So I have 11:18 p.m. and then I have to add my 13 hours. Jeez. If I do 12 hours, then we're at 11:18 a.m. on 4:30. We're almost done. I only added 12 hours, but that time said 13 hours, so I need to add another hour. So when I have 11:18 a.m. plus 1 hour, then I have 12:18 p.m. on 4:30. And since it says in military time, now I'm going to change it to 12:18 on 4:30. All right, the last question we have here is the doctor ordered for amoxicillin 500 milligrams 3 times a day. The first dose is given at 11:15 a.m. Find the next 2 times the medicine should be given. So, if it's given 3 times a day, TID is every 8 hours because there are 3 8-hour cycles in a 24-hour period. So if I start at 11:15 a.m., the next time I would take it is the next time you take it then would be 7:15 p.m. and then the next time you would take it would be 3:15 a.m. the next day. So in military time, it would be 11:15 hours. And then 7 plus 12, because you have to add the 12 hours in the morning, would be 19:15 hours. And the next time would be 03:15 hours for the next day. All right. So in order to get PM hours, you're going to add 12 to whatever number that is and take off the PM label. Common abbreviations used for medications. I want you to look over this chart and make sure that you know it. All these things. These are things that you can see on medicine labels. There are also things that you can see on prescriptions when they're written out. And you are expected to know all of them. Okay? Then we have the right patient. Make sure you have the right patient, the right documentation. Medical orders, if you notice, there are types of medical orders. One could be a stat order, which means needed immediately. There's a single order, which means given only once. PRN order, which means given as needed. Routine orders is given within 2 hours of being written and carried out on schedule. A standing order is written in advance and carried out under specific circumstances. And then if you see this little C on medicine labels, it means that they're a controlled substance. Symbols depending on the category. A Schedule 1 is most likely for abuse, and a Schedule 6 is less likely for abuse. And that's determined by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, or the DEA. And now we have the medicine labels. These are the things that you need to know with medicine labels. I'm going to move that down. I'm going to blow this up, and we're going to talk about it. So, there we go. If we're talking about this medicine label, then these are the essential things you need to know about them. First of all, the name of the drug, the trade name or generic name. The trade name would be Biaxin because of the little R, but it would also be Filmtab, which is that R. The generic name would be clarithromycin. The form of the drug would be tablets. The National Drug Code number is indicated with the NDC. So this NDC would be right here, NDC. And the barcode, it contains the NDC. So here, if you notice, they have all those numbers in there that the NDC had, but it also has the 3 and the 4 on the outside. It could be different letters than 3 or numbers than 3 and 4, but that is the whole barcode. The dosage strength would be 250 milligrams. But I want you to get used to thinking of strength as a fraction. Let's write that. Strength. Let's erase this part. We'll use that highlighter for something else. I want to write something about this. So the dosage strength, whenever you see strength, I want you to start thinking of strength as a fraction. With the amount of pure drug on the top of the fraction for every total solution or total volume on the bottom. So your strength fraction would be 250 milligrams per tablet. Awesome. If it was a liquid, it would have been something like 250 milligrams per 5 milliliters, or however much the total milliliters that contain that 250 milligrams would be. But right now it would be 250 milligrams per 1 tablet. The dosage recommendations, go back to highlighter. Dosage recommendations, it says right here, usual adult dose, 1 or 2 tablets every 12 hours. See package insert for full prescribing information. The storage directions would be right here. Store tablets at blah, 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 blah. Expiration date. Are these highlighters too? I wonder. Expiration date. Ooh, they are. Nice. There is none right here. There's the expiration date. So I'm going to say, oops, none. Manufacturer. Let's do this. This is kind of interesting. How about that one? Oh, I already used some of those colors. So the manufacturer, there, would be here, manufactured by AbbVie. Or it's also right there. The lot or control number, we'll go back to pen. The lot or control number is right here. It looks like it's not there, but it is. The lot was 04-A937-R9. And then the total volume, make sure you don't just say 60. You want to say 60 tablets. Make sure labels are needed. Labels are needed. Oops, it's not needed. All right, so that's chapter 12. Chapter 12, sorry, that's chapter 2, the 6 rights to know.